Hi everyone, it's Obi Abuchi here with the Leading from Your Core podcast and vodcast. This show is dedicated to helping leaders all around the world discover leadership wisdom, stories, and insights that will enable you to tap into the power of leading from the inside out. And I'm delighted to welcome on the show Carole Simb. Carole is an entrepreneur and the founder of Carole's Crêperie. She worked with BA for almost 20 years, Eurostar before that, and there she learned the best catering techniques and acquired her excellent customer service skills and a passion for putting a smile on every customer's face. And then in 2013, she trained at a prestigious and internationally renowned crêperie in Brittany, where she was awarded a certificate of excellence in crêpe making. And then she felt the need to bring a taste of Guadeloupe to the UK. She'd always wanted to create something on her own. And so along with her entrepreneurial spirit and her passion for food, and as Carole says, her degree from the University of Life, she began Crêperie Guadeloupe in June 2013, which was a huge leap of faith, but it is having she's built an incredible fan base in Southwest London for her traditional exotic crêpes. And she's also the author of The Long Road to Tomorrow. And one of her quotes is, "We believe everything is possible. Above all, if you are determined, ambitious, and persistent in your goals, you can overcome any challenge." And so today we're going to be talking about the power of persistence. Carole, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Comment ça va?
Bonjour, Obi. I'm well. I'm very pleased to be with you today.
Yes, it's great to have you here. And that's about as much French as I'm going to attempt on this podcast today, but it's really exciting to have you on the show.
Thank you.
So great to have you here. So Carole, quite a journey that you have had, and I love the title of your book, The Long Road to Tomorrow. Tell us a little bit about the meaning behind that title, because there's always a meaning behind the title, and then we'll move into our topic of persistence and some of your own journey as an entrepreneur and how persistence has played a huge part in that. So
The Long Road to Tomorrow, the title was mainly titled for the journey. It's all about the journey. It's all about the perseverance. It's all about the resilience. It's all about the keep going no matter what. Mm-hmm. And I remember Abraham Lincoln, who once said that I will prepare and one day my chance will come. But you must prepare. And this is what the title really entails.
I love that. I love that. It reminds me of one of the quotes from Paul Bryant. He was a coach in the States, and he said, "It's not the will to win, but the will to prepare to win that counts." And it's that preparation, that effort, that keep going no matter what, as you say, that really gets us to where we need to be in the end. And you've had a journey building Crêperie Guadeloupe, and I'm sure very often we see the end journey. There's a video that we're going to share with our viewers, and we'll put the details in the show link or in the show notes for those that are listening. But I imagine it wasn't always smooth getting to building your business, starting it, and even growing it. So what are some of the challenges that you had to overcome just to birth your business?
You know something, Obi? When I was still working for British Airways and I made the decision to stop being sitting in two seats between British Airways and the business and decided to jump. When I jumped into the deep sea, the water was freezing cold.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely freezing cold. But the good thing about it is actually, it's while you're in the water that you develop your ability to keep going, to persevere, to be resilient no matter what. So this is how I started. I decided to jump. And as I mentioned, the water was extremely cold to the point that some days you will open your fridge and there's nothing there. And you start wondering, wow, how am I going to feed the 3 children that I have?
Wow.
The water was so cold, Obi, that you have Barclays trying to repossess your house. So that's what I mean by saying that the water was freezing cold.
Yeah, yeah.
And the only way, I believe, to achieve something is to go through that, because it's about the journey. It's about the resiliency that you develop, the character. And I believe it's Jim Rohn who will say it's who you become in the process of achieving what you want to achieve. It's the character that you build.
Yeah.
And I can assure you, by jumping into that deep sea, the character that I have now, I never thought I would be that person.
Sure.
But yeah. So,
and I mean, that's amazing and well done for persevering and persisting. I'm curious because that's a big deal to feel your house is about to be repossessed. You don't have food to feed your kids who are struggling to find the resources to do that. What stopped you from going back and saying, okay, maybe this dream isn't going to work. I'm just going to go back to BA, or I'm going to go back to Eurostar and just go back to the old dream. Why didn't you do that?
You know, if you picture the ocean and you are halfway there, you know where you left and you know where you're going.
Okay.
You reach halfway. If you go back, you know exactly what you're going back to. You know there's no progress. You know it's a dead end.
Sure.
So the only way is forward. So for me, there was no other way than forward. Of course, like anyone else, I had time when I see my children struggling, when I see that I can't buy a pair of trainers for my son who's going to school, and I'm looking at the trainers, I have to put sellotape on it, just talking about it, bring back emotion. It's hard. It's really hard. And that's when you look back and you think, oh, shall I go back? But then you think, I'm going back to what? To what? To what I've left behind, which I knew it wasn't for me. So my recommendation to anyone, you are on a journey, you know exactly what you want, just press on. And it's going to get cold, the water will be freezing cold, but just press on. Because during that time, you develop a character of resilience. And there's no price to that. The person you become is just amazing. You can, honestly, Obi, there is nothing now scared me. I'm not afraid of anything. Because of what I have been through, I've developed that sort of character, strong character, that I'm not afraid of anything.
Sure.
And that's what you develop through perseverance and through going through tough time.
No, that is so amazing. And thank you for sharing that. I'm a big believer in the importance of character, and it's priceless. And I love the fact that you say, there's nothing that scares you now because of what you've been through. And you are touching on one of the fundamental obstacles to a lot of people achieving goals and achieving huge, phenomenal things. It's fear. It's the fear of the unknown.
Yes.
It's the, well, at least I knew what I was, what I had, what I was coming from, and it was comfortable. And I remember I had several instances in my life where I was jumping into the unknown, and it was just silly. I remember the first time I moved from an engineering company that I was working for shortly after graduating, and I was just passionate about going into consulting and leadership development. And we found out that my wife was expecting our first child. And I remember someone saying to me, Obi, are you sure now is the time to move? Because, hey, you've got a kid on the way. You guys have just bought a house. You know, you've got a mortgage. And so, in other words, maybe now's the time to play it safe. And you know what I did? So I tried to fast forward 25 years and imagined my son or daughter, I didn't know at the time, we ended up having 3 boys, but imagining my child 25 and I'm stuck in a job I don't like, I don't feel passionate about, it's not making the most of my skills, my talents, my purpose, but I'm safe and I'm comfortable, but I just knew I would regret it. And I would look at my child and say, I'm stuck here because of you. So that's what I did in my mind. And I thought, do you know what? I cannot do that. I don't know what's ahead of me. I don't know how difficult or challenging it's going to be, but I am not going to, I'm going to take responsibility for my life and pursue a dream, even if it meant there would be some difficulties and some cold water, maybe even some sharks that I have to navigate through in the water. But it's I love this. But it can be challenging, right? It can be challenging, and fear stops us. So like you said, it's, hey, you're no longer afraid, but fear can stop you and fear can make you go back. And I'd love to hear, so because you talk about resiliency, but what specifically helped you during those times? Clearly you said looking back and saying, but I left that for a reason, I don't want to go there. Did you visualize where you were going? Is that something that helped? You know, what were some of the specifics, just for our listeners and viewers to hear about what helped you persist?
What helped me persist is to know where I'm going, what I want to achieve. So like yourself, like all our listeners, you have something very clear in mind of the person you want to be, where you want to be, who you want to be. And that's the only thing to look to. And that was my main reason for persevering, for keep going no matter what. So I'd like to encourage you and all our listeners, you have your mind set on who you want to be, where you want to be, and never, ever look back. Never look back, because you know what you have left, it's not for you, and you would not grow. And another thing is that this is what I've realized, that you only grow through something that you haven't experienced before. So growth, really, love that. Growth happens when you immerse yourself into something new. You would never grow where comfort is. And often I have these pictures in my mind of the bacteria. Bacteria grow when they have comfort in their comfort zone. And that's where they become dangerous for us human beings. And this is the way I see things. Everywhere, every time you are comfortable into a zone, this is where the danger is for you. Never put yourself into a comfortable zone, because that's where danger is.
Yeah. Wow. That is such a powerful message, that you only grow when you're in new territory. I mean, essentially, when you're out of your comfort zone, that's where you're growing.
Yes.
And because I like going to the gym and I enjoy working out there, the visual that comes to mind is, if I want to grow muscle, I've got to use weights that I've never used before, right? I've got to increase the weights. I've got to step into a territory where I'm doing something that I haven't done before. So my muscles are used to, I'll make it up, my muscles are used to 10 kilogram dumbbells. I've got to step it up to 12 kilogram dumbbells. This is new, but that's when the growth happens because of that pressure. And same thing with challenging situations, right? It's okay, this is new for me, but it means that I can grow and I can begin to see opportunities and possibilities. That's incredibly powerful.
It is. And I'm just going to give you a little example.
Oh, fantastic.
2 years ago, when COVID started, I thought to myself, okay, the business is closed. What am I going to do? I've always wanted to study. Study was always something that I wanted to do, because as far as I'm concerned, I've got a degree in University of Life, but I don't have any degree in paper. So I thought, okay, right, let's do some studying. Let's do a degree. I was petrified by the idea of doing a degree. I thought to myself, Carole, who do you think you are? How are you going to do a degree? You've never studied in your life. So how are you going to do a degree? So you know what I did? I said, fine, let me jump into the deep sea. And I did jump. Wow. And when I jumped, I must admit, again, the water was very, very cold. Because
you really like cold water.
Oh, I do, because that's where you grow, So when I jump into the university world, it was challenging. I had to do deadline. I had to do research. I have to write in a way that I'm not accustomed to. So it was so challenging. Mm-hmm. Now, when I finished the first year, I thought to myself, wow, well done, Carole. I can't believe you managed the first year of degree. Then I'm now finishing the second year and I'm thinking, actually, I can do that. So amazing. You build your self-confidence. It's been built when you are in a zone which you are not accustomed to. This is why I say the best way for you to grow, to become someone better than who you are now, is to immerse yourself, is to push yourself into a situation that you are not used to. And this is what I did. And I'm pleased to say now I'm finishing my second year. I've just submitted my last assignment, which I got a 72, which is a first class result. So I'm impressed with myself. And what does do, as I say, it builds your confidence. It shows you that there is nothing that you cannot do. Absolutely nothing. Once you set your mind to it, there is nothing you cannot achieve.
I love your statement just a few seconds ago, really. I'm impressed with myself. And it's amazing how important that self-confidence, that positive talk towards ourselves, saying, hey, you're making progress. Look at what you've done, celebrating the strokes in the sea and saying, hey, you just made it 100 meters. Well done. You can keep going. And so the importance of encouraging yourself. And I want to go back to something you said at the beginning, because Jim Rohn was a big virtual mentor of mine as well. And what you said, and one of his quotes that I've loved over the years, is the main purpose in setting a goal is what it makes of you to achieve it. And I think that is so powerful, because what you have shown yourself, both with your business and also with the degree now that you're doing, is that actually Carole is the sort of person that is able to go into a difficult situation and push through and figure out ways to overcome. And each time you do that, you are developing these internal character muscles that say, oh, it's a difficult situation. Oh yeah, but I remember handling a difficult situation before. I can figure it out. Oh, I remember handling a difficult situation before. I can figure it out. And that is the power of persistence, isn't it? That you're able to look back and say, oh, I'm growing, I'm getting better, I'm doing this, I'm figuring it out. And you're not there yet, but you clearly are doing something really incredible. And I can imagine that you'll finish with a first class, knowing that your professionalism and your determination to succeed at a high level. So that's really incredible. Such a great message.
Confidence, it's what you and I and our listeners, we all need to achieve. But confidence, you only achieve it and receive it through going through difficult situation, emerging yourself into something new. Now doing the degree, I am much more confident in my persona to who I was 2 years ago.
Wow.
So now I'm equipped with even more confidence. By the time I finish the degree, I qualify. That would add into my confidence. And now I'm even thinking of doing an MBA. So what I'm trying to say is confidence is what you and I and our audience need. But you only get confidence through emerging yourself, putting yourself in situations that you are not used to, you are not accustomed to. So if you want to build your confidence, my advice would be, do something new. Do something you haven't done before. Do something who scared you. And you will be amazed how this will build your confidence. It will make you to someone that you never thought that you was initially. And this confidence, with that, there is nothing you cannot achieve. Once you start running that race of confidence, then nothing can stop you.
Wow. That is such an amazing message. Do something that scares you. And again, just from experience as well, I know for me that one of the reasons that it's important for me to do things that scare me is because often the fear is just in my mind.
True.
And that's a mental block. And so I've started several businesses over the years, and often there's the fear of, hey, do I have what it takes, and will I succeed, and will it go anywhere? But it's all mental. Yes. The reality is we all have the ability to take the right action when we're gifted, we're talented in a specific area, and we can even grow that talent, right? That's with a growth mindset, learning to develop the right sort of skills. But the biggest blocker that I've found personally, and for a lot of people, is mental. But when I do something that is scary, I realize I have agency, I can take action, I can do something. So all of the fear, a lot of it was in my head. The reality is that I've got what it takes to take action and get some results. So I love the emphasis on doing things that scare you.
Yes, that's how you grow your wings. The more you do something that scared you, the more you immerse yourself into something new, the stronger your wings are. So speaking of things that scare you and throwing ourselves into things that are just challenging, what's on your horizon for the next 5-10 years? What are some scary things? You mentioned the MBA already. What are some other scary things you're hoping to do? I do public speaking, Obi. Cool. And for some reason, I don't find my speech funny or humorous enough. Okay. So my next challenge is to jump into the comedy club.
Oh, wow.
So I want to dive right into comedy club
Wow.
and see where that take me, that
Sure.
extra skill that's gonna give me. So that's my next venture in terms of developing myself to a better me.
Wow. Wow. You are so, Carole, you're a great example of someone who's just saying, hey, listen, I want to grow this skill. I've got a vision in my mind. I've got a goal, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. And that's an amazing message for a lot of the leaders, a lot of the entrepreneurs that are listening to this. What is your goal? And how could you put yourself in situations that stretch you, that test you, that grow you, but help move you forward to your goal? Because some people would look at that and say, oh no, I'm clearly not skilled in this area. Let's find a different dream. But you're saying, hey, I'm not skilled in this area. How can I develop that skill?
That's fine. That's exactly right.
That skill, which is amazing.
Yes, because everything that I do, it's aiming at where I'm going. So all the skill that I acquire during my journey, it's leading me to where I want to be and who I see myself as. So if I want to develop my public speaking skills, and I know that having humorous would help, then I will enroll a club, although I don't think that I'm a funny person. So I would immerse myself into it. And for example, if I'm going to the gym, I will go to a gym where I can meet people who have the same mindset. So everything that I do is with the goal in mind.
Amazing. That's amazing. Hey, Carole, thank you so much just for sharing all of this. I've got one final question for you, which is, if you could speak to your younger self, the younger Carole, I know, 15, 20 years ago, what would you say to your younger self with all that you know now? What would you say? What's one piece of advice you would give to your younger self?
I would say, don't beat yourself down, but build yourself up. Because often we tend to be so harsh on ourselves. We only see what we don't do well. And all the other things that we are doing amazingly well, we discard them as if they are not important, where actually, if we focus a little more on what we do well, who we are, the good part of us, then we will be amazed. So I would tell my younger self, it's okay, you are doing well. Don't beat yourself down, but build yourself up.
Oh, amazing, amazing. That's such a great message, and a great message to end on as well, Carole. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today and just talking about the power of persistence. To all our listeners and viewers, I hope you enjoyed the show. Some great words of wisdom from Carole there, and a final message about really building yourself up, not putting yourself down. And remember that if you want to be a courageous and resilient leader, if you want to live life on purpose and with purpose, then it starts from the inside out. Have a great day and see you on the next show. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.